What are some very comforting facts? Story 1. Nurse here. If you're having a general anesthetic for a routine operation and worried about dying while under, please be aware there are about 7 different levels of stuff we can do to bring you back. So if the thing we normally do doesn't work, we've got plan B, then we've got plan C, D, E, F, G, and H, and we rarely need to even go to plan C, let alone the rest. It's ridiculously rare for you to never wake up from a routine op. Of course it happens occasionally, but for every case you've heard about it happening, there's thousands of identical operations where it didn't. I've been qualified 15 years and it's literally never happened anywhere I've worked. Story 2. You don't really forget something. You just have the information hidden, but once you get back to it, you can recover your knowledge and skills rapidly. I've had a huge break from learning German, but a few days ago I went back to it and I'm already on a similar level I was, despite the fact I was certain that I forgot everything. Story 3. All those embarrassing cringy memories that come flooding into your mind when you least expect it. Nobody else remembers them. Every last one of us has them. It's part of this complicated process called living. While you're busy remembering yours, everyone else is remembering their own. It's in the past, nothing you can do right now can make it any better. Chalk it up as a lesson and reap the experience. Story 4. Stan Lee started creating the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Iron Man, etc. at around 40. So even if you think that you can't get anything out of life, you still can push yourself creatively and leave a lasting impact on the world at an older age. Story 5. Your body is home to its own unique ecosystem, the human gut. Sounds gross, but billions of little creatures living inside you are helping you digest things, dispose of waste, and survive natural toxins in the food you consume. If you ever feel like you're useless or that your existence means nothing, that's not true. You literally mean the world to your gut flora. Story 6. My boyfriend has a panic and anxiety disorder. Whenever he gets a panic attack, one of our cats will sit on him and purr loudly. It always comforts him and calms him down. We always joke that she is our little support animal. She is very attuned to our emotions and feelings. When my grandmother passed away and I was very sad, she would not leave me alone. She would just sit next to me in silence or occasionally let out a small purr to inform me she was still there. So, as conclusion, even if you are having a shit day, your pet still loves you. Story 7. India's tiger population grew from 1,411 in 2006 to 2,967 tigers as per the 2018 census. Based on the best available information, tiger populations are stable or increasing in India, Nepal, Bhutan, Russia, and China. But much more work is needed to protect this species if we are to secure its future in the wild. Story 8. Most seahorses are monogamous and mate for life. Young seahorses actually go on dates with their prospective partner before settling and starting to procreate. They can also be seen swimming in pairs with their tails linked together. Story 9. The pollen that bees collect on their legs as they pollinate flowers are called pollinator pants. So next time you see bees hard at work, take a look at their legs and you might be able to see the pants depending on how much they've pollinated. Story 10. Cheetahs are very shy animals. So some zoos give them support dogs like those for humans. It's the cutest thing ever. The bigger reason for this is that cheetahs' vision likes to hyperfocus. In a crowd like ones at the zoo, they would get anxious looking at each individual and would try to analyze each person, which can be very stressful for them. Dogs are very good at reading groups and crowds. They pair a dog with the cheetah to rely on emotionally. If the dog is calm, the cheetah will trust them that there's nothing to worry about from those crowds. How zoo prevent the cheetah from killing the dog? They are typically introduced at a very young age and imprint on each other. Cheetahs are also not naturally driven to kill dogs as prey. A cheetah could kill a dog, but typically a cheetah would never hunt a dog in the wild. If it was in its territory, or if a dog appeared hurt and by itself, a cheetah might go for an opportunistic kill, but those are special circumstances. The most likely situation you'd see in the wild would be if they were hunting the same prey and they fought over a kill. Story 11. Liechtenstein once deployed 80 men for protecting the border against Austria. Despite their worries, they saw exactly zero combat. When they called it a day, they returned home with 81 men. Because an Italian bloke bumped into them and wanted to come live in Liechtenstein. They literally made a friend on the way. Story 12. During the Second World War, a Muslim man owned a mosque in Paris. After France got captured by the Germans, the French Jews were being killed. The Muslim man offered every Jew he could find shelter in his mosque and handed out fake Muslim certificates so they wouldn't be questioned. He saved over 400 lives. No one is your enemy except for the ones you make yourself believe are. Story 13. We have been born into arguably the best point in human history. True that we have a whole slew of troubles. These issues are only minor examples compared to the plagues, social Darwinism, and overall pretty crap quality of life you'd live say 100 years back. We still have those plagues, racial biases, and hatred, but we are lucky that we are alive in a time where over the past century, so many strives towards equality have been made. Except black licorice, we are unfortunately still in that era. Story 14. There is a type of mold growing around the elephant's foot in Chernobyl. This mold eats radiation, and the radioactivity of the elephant's foot has decreased drastically since the mold started growing there. I don't know, it's just comforting to me that the planet can heal no matter how bad the scar we left. Story 15. About 65% of America's aluminum is currently recycled. Every minute an average of 123,097 aluminum cans are recycled. On average, Americans recycle 2 out of every 3 aluminum cans they use. The average aluminum can contains more than 50% post-consumer recycled aluminum. It's just aluminum, but it shows that we can as a society recycle over half of the stuff we use, and we can start keeping the world clean. That and a push to renewable energy would be nice. Story 16. In dog or wolf movies where they use real-life dog actors, the people who have to edit sometimes have to add CGI tails because the dogs can't stop wagging their tail as they are so happy. Story 17. You can talk to your pet rabbit by quickly pushing your lips downwards and upwards as if you were trying to look up your nose in a mirror. Do it quickly and you're chatting. It mimics the nose movements they make, and you can see them wiggle their noses faster out of interest. Copy their rhythm and watch them talk back. Also, stomping your foot like they do, as well as turning your back on them when annoyed, is understood too. If they have chewed something they shouldn't have, you can stomp one foot and turn around with your arms folded. Have a look over your shoulder to make sure they see you. They should come to check on you, and if they don't, stomp and make sure they see your back is turned. Eventually they get it and come over to make sure you're okay. Then let the nose waggling commence. You can expect them to do the same to you as well, like when you clean their enclosure. Story 18. Crows will let other crows know if you're a good person. Feeding a crow in your backyard can quickly become many crows over time since the rumor spreads. And nearby crows in your area will know you as one they like. They can also be known to be protective of you and even bring you gifts. Suffice to say, crows are one of the most intelligent creatures on the planet, and they are truly underrated. Story 19. There's a place in Japan called Capybara Land where you can hang out with capybaras and see them chilling in hot springs. Story 20. I once found a ladybug in my room in the middle of winter. I tried to look up if I could feed it somehow and found countless other people asking the same question. The world is full of people who have compassion enough to feed a lone bug in the winter. Story 21. If 99% of the world population finds you unattractive, there are still 78 million people in the world that find you attractive. That's a lot of people. If you've gotten this far and enjoying the content, please leave a comment of your own story. We'd love to make a video of them in the future. Story 22. The most amazing miracles that stopped nuclear holocaust aren't the ones featuring the US and USSR but India and Pakistan. They've had nukes for 40 years now and hate each other fanatically. Furthermore, their nuclear arsenals are controlled not by generals or statespeople but captains. And yet, the human species is still approaching 80 years without a nuclear war. This tells me, when all is said and done, we love life more than we hate each other. Story 23. There are incredible scientific advances in fusion energy and machines that can filter greenhouse gas out of the atmosphere, as well as a whole bunch of brilliant ideas to clean the space and the oceans of garbage. The science community is incredibly loving and fills me with so much hope for the future. I seriously considered not having children, and at some point I was even contemplating. Now I will study physics, and I even would consider having a child in case I find a woman who loves me. I am curious where my life will go from here. Story 24. Switzerland has implemented a scheme, Time Bank, which is an old age assistance program under which people can volunteer to look after the elderly who require assistance, and then the number of hours they spend with or caring for seniors gets deposited in their individual social security account. Eventually, when the volunteer reaches that old age when he or she requires support, this time bank can help them by providing time-based services which include consultations, babysitting, hairdressing, gardening, tutoring, or any other time-consuming job in addition to being looked after by a volunteer as well. About 34 countries are trying to apply this scheme. Very wholesome and humane. Story 25. Whenever I've experienced heartbreak or something scary or intimidating, I remind myself I'm not the first person ever to have gone through it, and for some reason I always find it comforting. I'm not the first person to be scared or sad, and thousands of others have gotten through what I'm going through, and if they can get through it, why can't I? I'm stating this is something I find comforting when I'm needing to cope. Doesn't mean it will work for everyone. And I don't view it as, other have gone through this so my feelings are not valid. It's more of, thousands of other people have felt this way before, and if they can figure out how to cope with it or navigate and heal from it, then why can't I? This is just one of the many tools I have in my coping toolbox that I use. It's me telling myself, if other people can figure out how to get through this situation or experience, then I can too. It's just drawing inspiration from others. Story 26. Van Gogh didn't start painting until his late 20s. J.K. Rowling didn't publish Harry Potter until her late 30s. Samuel L. Jackson didn't get his first big role until his 40s. It's never too late to be who you might have been. Story 27. Nobody pays all that much attention to you. Everyone is the main character in their story and thinks you're just another supporting role or an NPC. I find this very freeing. Story 28. Think of all the worst days of your life. You've made it through every single one of them and are still going strong. There's always another day on the other side. Story 29. There is a group of bikers called Bikers Against Child Abuse who support child abuse victims in court by looking tough and giving the kids confidence to testify against their abusers. It's actually an international group. Story 30. There's a volunteer organization called No One Dies Alone. You're at Sacred Hearts Medical Center, you're terminal, you need a companion. From someone to talk to, or just someone to hold our hand. They'll make sure someone will be there for you. Story 31. If you've lost someone and you feel like that they are completely gone from your life, think about the impact they have had on you, on your loved ones, on others, and think of how that impact continues to live on throughout all of life. That impact won't die with them either. The chain of life goes on. Story 32. Given all the atoms in the universe are recycled in various ways, having formed in the first stars, our entire body has already experienced billions of years of each atom's own personal history. Even more comforting, it's plausible those atoms will eventually become part of someone else in the future and will continue to exist in various forms, transforming continuously, until the end of time itself. So in a way, we're connected to something absolutely eternal, and our ultimate fate is to be spread across the stars. Heck, depending how deep you want to get, there's also a tiny, tiny chance that your pattern of DNA will form entirely by chance again, creating someone that is biologically you but with a whole new memory, experiences and history. Basically, everyone and everything is connected. The best part? None of this is based on religion or wishful thinking, it's actual established and current scientific fact. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to Thread Talk for more content like this. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out. Have a dope day and we'll see you in the next video. Cheers!